I had one of the most exhilarating conversations with a community attender recently. Now, this was a guy who's done pretty well in business, but in the last few years, he's found his way back to God. He shows up every week at community, and he says, every week I find myself getting emotional, and I'm not really an emotional guy. And he loves the community he's experiencing. He's in a small group that's doing life together. He's also finding that he loves being generous. I mean, he's giving away more and more of what God's given him. And he's super passionate about the mission. I mean, so passionate now that he's strategizing how he can spend more time on the mission and less time at work. So I'm having this conversation, and throughout the conversation, he kept using this phrase over and over again. He just kept saying, I'm all in. He talked about his relationship with Jesus, and he said, I'm all in. And we talked about the mission. I want to spend more time there. He said, I just want to be all in. And we talked about generosity and some of the initiatives we have coming up. He said, listen, I'm all in. It got to the point where I just stop him and I'd say, did you know that our theme for this next ministry year is all in? And he had no idea. And then he said, I had no idea, but that's just how I feel. I feel all in. If there's one phrase that I'd like to describe this next ministry year, it's this phrase, all in. And here's why. I think God's looking for people who are all in. Look what it says in 2 Chronicles 16:9. It says this, the eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to Him. Now this scripture tells us something amazing about God, that He's always looking for people to strengthen. Other translations say mightily support. And the people He chooses to strengthen or mightily support are the ones who are completely committed to Him. He's looking for that in people. God's actually kind of looking for people who are all in. Now, as we look ahead to this next ministry year, this is going to be a year of exceptional opportunity. We're going to reach record numbers of people. We're going to actually bring restoration in unprecedented ways. We're going to reproduce this mission both locally and globally. We're going to help more people than ever find their way back to God. But it's going to take all of us, and it's going to take all of us being all in. And here's what that means. First, it means being all in with Jesus. We have to increase the spiritual temperature of our own lives. Now, we've equipped you with an 8-week Bible reading challenge, but you have to take ownership for that. You have to increase your own spiritual temperature of being all in with Jesus, and that is just foundational. Secondly, we need you to be all in on the mission. Last year, almost 3/4 of our small groups had a written mission statement and then were commissioned on a weekend. This year, we want to go for 100%. We want every one of our groups to be on mission. And that means you and your group being all in. Lastly, we have to be all in with our generosity. The Bible teaches us, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And for many of us, this is the biggest test. But we need you to be all in with your generosity. And I want you to know, I am all in. And here's what I'm asking of everyone at Community. Will you join me and be all in?
Here at Community Lincoln Square, we want to challenge everyone to be all into Jesus, all into mission, and all into generosity. Let me explain that third part for you. This fall, we are launching a 2-year initiative designed to help us pick up the baton from the organizations, churches, and individuals who helped us get started. Do you know how in a track and field relay, a runner stands poised with their arm behind them, ready to receive the baton? I think that's the posture we're in as a community. You see, during the first couple years of this church plant, we've relied heavily on the generosity of others who had a vision for what God wanted to do here in our city. They have sacrificed, they've given generously so that Community Lincoln Square could get started. And now it's our turn to grab the baton. Our All-In Generosity Initiative will have a 2-year goal of $560,000. It's built around the 3 R's: reach, restore, and reproduce. The reach part of this initiative is about what God is doing right here in Lincoln Square. Our mission is to reach each and every person to help them find their way back to God. This part of the initiative covers the costs associated with the Jesus mission right here at our campus. As you think of reach, picture your friends, your neighbors, your family members, your coworkers, the people you would like to see find their way back to God. We need to grab that baton for them. We need to run the race well for them. That is what the Reach part of this initiative is all about. $35,000 of All In will go towards helping us restore God's dreams for our world. A part of that will come through Celebration Generosity, an annual initiative where we give away our entire offering to causes both local and international. Over the next 2 years, our hope is to give $25,000 away to these great causes.
Every story begins with the heart, that in order to affect a change in behavior or to affect any sort of action, that there needs to be a change or a renovation or a reformation of the heart. And that's what I feel like Nathan and I, my husband and I, are undergoing at Community Christian Church, because there are changes in us that I actually can't really account for very well. They're just happening. That it has really taken us from a place where we were very inward looking, where we were focused only on our problems, to a place where we now feel like that there is something for us to do and something for us to be, to make a change, a real change in the world.
The remaining $10,000 will be available to our small groups for their chosen missions. These dollars could be used to plan events, to support initiatives, really anything a small group feels called to that'll help restore God's dreams for the world. I'm really excited about that. I think God could use these dollars to do some pretty amazing things in our city.
Being involved with that first small group and kind of letting me just sit on the couch and sit back and listen, but them all be there and truly be there and not just it be a front. So yeah, it's a community. It really is a community. Everyone's there for each other, and everyone's there to help each other. And you can really see the genuine love that people are, exuding towards each other.
And finally, reproduce. Of course, our mission is not limited to Lincoln Square. We believe God has called us to reproduce campuses in every neighborhood that will help people find their way back to God. As the first community campus in the city, we want to set the pace for reproduction by investing in new churches in Edgewater, Lincoln Park, and beyond. That's why even as we work to be self-supporting, we are designating $20,000 over these next 2 years to help these new churches get started. So that's the All Into Generosity part of this All In vision. Obviously, it is a big goal and it's going to stretch us, but I wholeheartedly believe that we are poised to take the baton. All into Jesus, all into mission, all into generosity. Lincoln Square is all in.